You know that feeling when you're doing everything right with your money, but progress feels painfully slow? When you're investing consistently, following all the advice, yet your balance barely budges after months or even years? What if I told you there's a simpler system that cuts through the confusion and makes consistency feel effortless? Today we're diving into the revolutionary 642 system that's transforming how people approach compounding. This isn't another complicated framework with endless rules. It's 3 simple numbers that create unstoppable momentum. And here's the thing most people miss about compounding. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence made simple. If you're tired of complex strategies that leave you overwhelmed and inconsistent, this video will change everything. Hit that subscribe button right now because what you're about to learn will turn your financial frustration into genuine progress. Let's jump in. Most people think compounding is complicated. They get lost in endless investment options, market timing strategies, and complex allocation formulas. But here's what wealthy people know that others don't. Simplicity beats complexity every single time. The 642 system strips away the noise and gives you 3 clear pillars that actually work. Think of it like building a house. You could design an elaborate mansion with dozens of rooms, but if you can't finish building it, you'll be sleeping outside. Or you could build a solid, simple structure that protects you from every storm. That's what this system does for your money. The number 6 represents your time horizon in years. Not 7 like other systems suggest, but 6. Why 6? Because 6 years is long enough to see real compounding effects without feeling like you're locked into an impossible timeline. It's the sweet spot between patience and results. Most people quit investing programs because they set unrealistic expectations. They think they need to commit to decades without seeing progress. But 6 years? That feels achievable. You can visualize where you'll be in 6 years. 6 years ago feels recent. 6 years from now feels reachable. This mental shift changes everything about how you approach consistency. The beauty of 6 years is psychological as much as financial. When you commit to 6 years, you stop obsessing over monthly fluctuations. You stop checking your balance every week, wondering why it's not growing faster. Instead, you start thinking in seasons and cycles. You realize that temporary dips don't matter because you're playing a longer game. But 6 years isn't just about time. It's about creating the right environment for growth. During this period, you're not just letting money sit there. You're actively building systems that compound beyond just your investments. You're developing habits, learning skills, and creating opportunities that multiply your earning potential. The 6-year framework forces you to think strategically about every dollar you invest, because you know it has 6 full years to work for you. Here's what happens in 6 years that doesn't happen in 3 or 4. Market cycles complete, your income typically grows significantly, your investment knowledge deepens, and most importantly, you develop unshakable confidence in the process. By year 6, what once felt slow and uncertain becomes powerful momentum that carries you forward for decades. 6 years builds the foundation. Everything after that is exponential growth. The number 4 in our system represents your 4 core investment pillars. Not 5 like traditional diversification models, but 4 carefully chosen areas that work together seamlessly. These 4 pillars create balance without complexity, growth without excessive risk, and consistency without constant management. The first pillar is broad market growth. This means investing in index funds that track the overall stock market. You're not picking individual stocks or trying to beat the market. You're simply capturing the economy's long-term upward trend. This pillar typically represents 40 to 50% of your portfolio because it's your steady, reliable foundation. The second pillar is international exposure. This gives you access to growth opportunities beyond your home country. When domestic markets struggle, international markets might thrive, and vice versa. This pillar usually represents 20 to 30% of your investments, providing geographic diversification that smooths out regional economic bumps. The third pillar is growth acceleration through small and mid-cap companies. These are smaller businesses with higher growth potential than established giants. They're more volatile, but over 6 years, this volatility often translates into superior returns. This pillar typically represents 15 to 20% of your portfolio, adding the growth engine that can really boost your long-term results. The fourth and final pillar is your stability anchor, consisting of bonds, real estate investment trusts, or dividend-paying stocks. This pillar isn't exciting, but it's essential. It provides steady income and helps protect your portfolio during market downturns. This pillar usually represents 10 to 15% of your investments, acting as a shock absorber that keeps you invested during tough times. The genius of 4 pillars is simplicity. You can easily track and rebalance 4 categories without getting overwhelmed. More importantly, 4 pillars cover all the essential bases without redundancy. You have growth, international diversification, acceleration potential, and stability. Everything else is just complexity that doesn't improve results. When you limit yourself to 4 pillars, you're forced to choose quality over quantity. You can't get distracted by the latest investment fad because you already have your 4 areas covered. This creates discipline that leads to better long-term results than constantly chasing new opportunities. 4 pillars also makes rebalancing simple. Once or twice a year, you check that each pillar represents roughly its target percentage of your portfolio. If one area has grown too large, you sell a portion and reinvest in the areas that have lagged behind. This systematic rebalancing forces you to buy low and sell high without trying to time the market. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want more topics like this, comment the word "more" so I know. Now we reach the most crucial number in the entire system, 2. This represents the 2% annual increase in your contributions. Not 10%, not 5%, just 2%. This might seem impossibly small, but it's the secret weapon that transforms average results into extraordinary wealth. Here's why 2% is perfect. It's small enough that you won't feel it in your budget, but large enough to create massive long-term impact. Most people try to increase their investments by huge amounts each year, then get discouraged when life gets expensive or income doesn't grow as expected. They end up inconsistent, stopping and starting their investing plan repeatedly. 2% avoids this trap completely. If you're investing $300 per month this year, 2% means investing $306 per month next year. That's an extra $6 monthly, less than the cost of lunch. You literally won't notice this increase in your daily life, but your future self will notice the difference immensely. Over 6 years, this small annual increase compounds into significantly larger contributions without ever straining your lifestyle. The mathematics of 2% annual increases are remarkable. Starting with $300 monthly, after 6 years, you're contributing about $338 monthly. The total difference in contributions over those 6 years is over $2,000 more than if you had kept contributions flat. But the real magic happens in the compound growth of those extra contributions over time. What makes 2% psychologically powerful is that it feels effortless. When your contribution increases by $6, your brain doesn't trigger loss aversion or budget anxiety. It's such a small change that you adapt immediately. This is crucial because the biggest enemy of long-term investing isn't market volatility, it's behavioral inconsistency. People stop investing when increases feel painful, but 2% never feels painful. The beauty extends beyond just avoiding pain. 2% creates positive momentum. Each year, as you successfully increase your contributions, you build confidence in your ability to save and invest more. This confidence creates a positive feedback loop where investing feels increasingly natural and achievable rather than stressful and restrictive. 2% also aligns perfectly with typical inflation rates and income growth. Most people receive cost of living adjustments or small raises annually. By dedicating just a portion of these increases to investing, you're staying ahead of inflation while barely impacting your lifestyle. It's the ultimate stealth wealth-building strategy. The compound effect of 2% annual increases over decades is staggering. What starts as an almost invisible adjustment becomes the difference between comfortable retirement and financial freedom. Small, consistent increases beat sporadic, large contributions every single time, and 2% makes consistency inevitable rather than difficult. And to make this process easier, we are building the Trip to Wealth Command Center, a Google Sheets system that tracks your income, spending, investing, and net worth in one place. It acts as a strategy hub that reveals money leaks, growth opportunities, and how small changes compound. Join the early access list below. The tool will be out soon. The 6-4-2 system works because it addresses the three main reasons people fail at long-term investing: unclear timelines, overwhelming complexity, and unsustainable contribution increases. Traditional investment advice tells you to think in decades, manage 8 to 12 different asset classes, and dramatically increase contributions whenever possible. This creates analysis paralysis and behavioral failure. The 6-4-2 system eliminates these problems by giving you clear, achievable parameters. 6 years feels manageable, 4 pillars feels simple, and 2% feels effortless. This combination creates what psychologists call a success spiral, where early wins build confidence that leads to continued success. When you know exactly what to do and it doesn't feel overwhelming, you actually do it consistently. The system also builds in natural progression. After your first 6-year cycle, you have experience, confidence, and significant momentum. You can then commit to another 6 years with larger amounts and deeper knowledge. The 4 pillars remain constant, providing stability, while the 2% increases continue compounding your progress. Most importantly, the system is self-reinforcing. As you see your balance grow over 6 years through 4 simple pillars with gradually increasing contributions, you develop unshakable faith in the process. This faith carries you through market downturns, economic uncertainty, and lifestyle changes that might otherwise derail your investing discipline. Let me share how this plays out in real numbers. Sarah starts the 6-4-2 system at age 28, investing $200 monthly across 4 pillars. Each year, she increases by 2%, so by year 2, she's investing $204 monthly. By year 6, she's investing about $225 monthly. After 6 years, assuming a 7% average return, Sarah has approximately $18,000. That might not sound life-changing, but remember, this is just the foundation. Sarah now has 6 years of investing experience, a proven system that feels natural, and growing confidence. She starts her second 6-year cycle with $225 monthly, continuing her 2% annual increases. By the end of 12 years total, Sarah has over $50,000. The magic accelerates from there. By the end of 18 years, she has over $100,000. By 24 years, she has over $180,000. And by 30 years of following this simple system, Sarah has over $300,000. All from starting with just $200 monthly and never making any dramatic changes or complicated decisions. The 6-4-2 system transforms small, sustainable actions into significant wealth through the power of consistency and time. The psychological benefits are equally important as the financial ones. Traditional investing advice creates stress through complexity and unrealistic expectations. People constantly worry about asset allocation, market timing, and whether they're doing enough. The 6-4-2 system eliminates this stress by providing clear guidelines that don't require constant decision-making. You know, your timeline is 6 years, so you don't panic during short-term volatility. You know your 4 pillars, so you don't get distracted by every investment opportunity. You know your contribution increase is just 2%, so you don't feel guilty about not saving more or proud when you save more than expected. This psychological stability is crucial for long-term success. When investing feels calm and predictable rather than stressful and complicated, you're far more likely to stick with it through all of life's ups and downs. The system also provides natural checkpoints for evaluation and adjustment. Every 6 years, you can assess whether the 4 pillars still make sense for your situation and whether 2% annual increases remain appropriate. This regular review process keeps you engaged without requiring constant monitoring or frequent changes. Perhaps most importantly, the 6-4-2 system scales with your income and life changes. Whether you start with $50 monthly or $500 monthly, the percentages and principles remain the same. As your income grows, the 2% increases represent larger dollar amounts, but they never feel overwhelming because they're always just 2% of where you started. Here's how to implement the 6-4-2 system starting today. First, commit to your 6-year timeline. Write down the exact date 6 years from now when you'll evaluate your progress. This isn't when you'll stop investing. It's when you'll celebrate completing your first cycle and plan your next phase. Having this specific date makes the commitment real and achievable rather than vague and intimidating. Next, set up your 4 pillars. Choose one broad market index fund for domestic exposure, one international index fund for global diversification, one small or mid-cap fund for growth acceleration, and one bond fund or dividend-focused fund for stability. Don't overthink these choices. Major financial companies offer excellent options for each pillar, and perfection isn't the goal. Getting started is the goal. Allocate your initial investment amount across these 4 pillars based on your risk tolerance, but a simple starting point is 40% domestic index, 25% international, 20% growth, and 15% stability. These percentages don't need to be exact, and you can adjust them as you learn and grow. Then implement your 2% annual increase system. If you're starting with $100 monthly, plan to invest $102 monthly starting next year. Set a calendar reminder for the anniversary of when you started investing to implement each year's increase. Make this increase automatic through your investment platform so you don't have to remember or make the decision each year. The key to success with the 6-4-2 system is treating it like a subscription service for your future self. Just like you automatically pay for streaming services or gym memberships, your investing contributions should happen automatically without requiring monthly decisions. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment accounts and let the system run in the background of your life. Review your progress quarterly, not to make changes, but to stay engaged and motivated. Watch how your 4 pillars perform differently over time. Notice how your gradually increasing contributions accelerate your balance growth. And appreciate how 6 years of consistency creates momentum that feels almost magical. The beauty of the system is that it gets easier over time, not harder. The first year requires setup and adjustment as you get used to automatic contributions. The second and third years feel routine as the system becomes part of your financial life. Years 4 through 6 feel exciting as you watch significant balances build and start to visualize your next 6-year cycle. After 6 years, the 6-4-2 system doesn't just give you investment returns, it gives you something more valuable, proof that you can successfully build wealth through simple, consistent actions. This proof becomes the foundation for even greater financial achievements in your second, third, and fourth 6-year cycles. The 6-4-2 system succeeds where other approaches fail because it optimizes for human psychology rather than just mathematical perfection. Perfect investment strategies that people can't stick with produce 0 results. Simple strategies that people follow consistently produce wealth. 6 years provides enough time for compounding to work without feeling like an impossible commitment. 4 pillars provide adequate diversification without overwhelming complexity. 2% annual increases provide meaningful growth without unsustainable sacrifice. Together, these 3 numbers create a framework that's almost impossible to fail at if you simply follow it consistently. The system also adapts to different life stages and income levels. A college graduate starting their first job can begin with $50 monthly across 4 pillars and increase by 2% annually. A mid-career professional can start with $500 monthly using the same 4 pillars and 2% increases. The principles scale perfectly regardless of your starting point. Most importantly, the 642 system builds wealth-building habits that extend beyond just investing. The discipline of consistent monthly contributions develops into discipline around spending and budgeting. The patience of waiting 6 years for results develops into patience around other financial goals. The confidence of successfully growing wealth develops into confidence around starting businesses, negotiating salaries, or making other financial decisions that can accelerate your progress even further. Let me address the most common objections to this system. First, people worry that 2% annual increases aren't aggressive enough. They think they should be increasing contributions by 10% or more each year to maximize returns. This thinking ignores the reality of behavioral consistency. Large increases feel good when you set them, but they often become impossible to maintain when life gets expensive. Small increases that you actually implement beat large increases that you abandon. Second, people worry that 4 pillars aren't diversified enough. They want exposure to emerging markets, commodities, real estate, individual stocks, and cryptocurrency. This desire for perfect diversification often leads to over-diversification that dilutes returns without meaningfully reducing risk. 4 well-chosen pillars provide all the diversification benefits you need while remaining manageable. Third, people worry that 6 years isn't long enough to see real compound growth. They think they need to commit to 20 or 30 years for investing to work. This misunderstands how momentum builds. 6 years provides enough time to see significant progress and develop unshakable investing habits. After 6 years, continuing becomes natural rather than forced. The 642 system isn't about optimizing every aspect of your investments. It's about creating a system you'll actually follow for decades. Perfect optimization that you abandon after 2 years produces far worse results than simple consistency maintained for decades. Let's recap why the 6-4-2 system transforms frustrating complexity into effortless consistency. 6 years gives you a clear, achievable timeline that feels manageable rather than overwhelming. You can commit to 6 years without feeling like you're sacrificing your entire future to an abstract goal. This timeline provides enough duration for compound growth while being specific enough to create real commitment. 4 pillars provide complete diversification without overwhelming complexity. You have domestic growth, international exposure, acceleration potential, and stability protection. These 4 areas cover every essential aspect of long-term investing while remaining simple enough to track and rebalance easily. 2% annual contribution increases create meaningful growth without unsustainable sacrifice. Your investing accelerates every year, but never by amounts that strain your budget or feel overwhelming. This gradual increase builds momentum that compounds alongside your investment returns. Together, these 3 numbers create a framework that's almost impossible to fail at. The timeline isn't so long that you lose motivation. The investment choices aren't so complex that you get paralyzed, and the contribution increases aren't so aggressive that you can't maintain them. The 642 system works because it's designed for humans, not spreadsheets. It acknowledges that successful investing is more about psychology than mathematics, and it optimizes for the behaviors that actually create long-term wealth rather than the strategies that look impressive on paper. The 642 system isn't just about building wealth, it's about building a sustainable relationship with money that serves you for decades. When you prove to yourself that you can consistently invest for 6 years across 4 pillars with gradually increasing contributions, you develop financial confidence that transforms every aspect of your economic life. This confidence helps you negotiate higher salaries, start side businesses, make better spending decisions, and take calculated risks that accelerate your progress even further. The system also provides a template for approaching other financial goals. Need to save for a house down payment? Use a modified version with a 3-year timeline, 2 savings vehicles, and small monthly increases. Want to build an emergency fund? Apply the same principles of consistent contributions and gradual increases. The 642 framework trains you to think systematically about money rather than emotionally or impulsively. Most importantly, the system gives you something that complex investment strategies can't provide: peace of mind. When you know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why it works, investing becomes a calm, predictable part of your life rather than a source of stress and uncertainty. You stop worrying about market fluctuations because you know you have 6 years for cycles to smooth out. You stop questioning your asset allocation because you know your 4 pillars cover all the essential bases. You stop feeling guilty about not saving enough because you know your contributions are increasing every year at a sustainable pace. The 642 system proves that simplicity and consistency beat complexity and perfection every time. 3 numbers that create a framework simple enough to follow and powerful enough to build significant wealth over time. 6 years to give compound growth time to work without requiring impossible patience. 4 pillars to provide diversification without overwhelming complexity. 2% annual increases to accelerate progress without creating unsustainable sacrifice. If you're tired of complicated investment strategies that leave you confused and inconsistent, try the 642 system. Pick your 6-year commitment date, choose your 4 pillars, and implement your first 2% increase. Then simply follow the system consistently and watch as small, sustainable actions compound into remarkable results. The wealthy don't have secret strategies or insider knowledge. They have systems they follow consistently over long periods. The 642 system gives you that same advantage without requiring perfect timing, complex analysis, or massive sacrifices. Start today with whatever amount you can invest consistently, because the best time to begin was yesterday, but the second best time is right now. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today, and the 642 system ensures those decisions create the wealth and freedom you deserve. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. Always assess your risk tolerance and consult with financial professionals before making investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. If you found value today, I highly recommend watching my next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to leave your comment below, especially if this video made you think differently. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.